So good evening, everybody. Welcome to another group session of Free to Heal. This is Noreen McClendon. I'm your facilitator. I'm the one that is subjected to all of the trauma here in this room here. But we welcome you all. This is where we come together every week trying to heal the ravages of the scars from mass incarceration. And so we encourage you to send us topics that you want us to talk about or whatever. Tonight, one of the things that I wanted to.
One thing you said.
And what's that?
When you were talking about the booting up when they get up in the morning.
Uh-huh.
That dude's still in the game.
Really?
Yeah. That's pure game shit.
Oh, so in other words, okay, so I mentioned briefly before we started recording.
Because they're not even allowed to take their shoes off till they go to bed.
There are people in the prison. I was talking about when loved ones, we don't understand certain things that people do when they come home from incarceration. Part of that is one of the things was a guy telling me that he had to be up at 5 o'clock and his boots had to be laced up. And when I asked him about it, I said, why? And he said, because when that gate clicked, you never knew what it was. And Pike was just explaining to me that those are gang members who do that because of a particular affiliation or whatever. And so that's just something to know. So if your loved one comes home from prison and they jumping out the bed before 5 o'clock, putting on their clothes and putting in their boots, chances are they were in a gang when they were in prison. And that's the way that they live. So just know that and know that there may be some side effects from that. Okay. We had a great session a couple weeks ago, and you might want to look at it. Was funny and interesting, but we went over a list. It was like a letter that's supposedly written to a family member saying, I'm getting ready to come home. And if you see me do this, don't trip. Okay. Don't trip out as to why. And it was really fun to go through because everybody could explain this is why we do that. For example, when the guy was talking about washing the underwear and stuff, and the fact that people, if they put their private stuff in the laundry that they sent away, the people in the prison would steal their clothes, their personal clothes. I had no clue, right?
Or it would wash them, period.
Or not wash them at all, as James is saying. So there's just different things that we don't know that incarceration that leads people to do certain things to protect themselves and go through there. So anyway, because we talk a lot about relationships and everything, and I want to say this, I'm so honored. My book, Hurt People Highway, the inmates for those of you who didn't know, who may not have heard this before, but Folsom Prison contacted me and asked me to come and do an 8-week session with the inmates on my book and my workbook that I created for this. Tomorrow is week 7. They fly me every week to Sacramento from LA and back, and they bought the book and the workbook. And so I've been doing this group with them. And the 1 week I was out, we did it via Zoom. But the concept of the book is to identify unhealthy elements in relationships. And one of the things in chapter 5, this concept, I want you guys to think about this because I'm going to ask you guys if you've ever been in this situation. And I can't wait to hear the stories. When a relationship is unhealthy, usually the people involved are the last to know.
Very much so.
Always clearer to family and friends because they're not intimately or closely involved and have a more objective vantage point. This is not to suggest that it is impossible to see the signs if you are intimately involved with someone. Often, family and friends know your relationship history. They remember how devastated you were last time. Friends and family saw signs that the person was controlling early on. They noticed the things that you simply wrote off as a little too much, but so cute. The jealous mate is a good example of this. When the relationship is new, you find it cute that the person shows a little jealousy. It makes you feel that they're really into you. Well, family and friends see the crazy that's underneath that. They don't find it cute. They recognize the little ways that the person finds to keep you from getting together now. They notice that you always hurry off the phone when the person comes in the room. There are a million little signs that jealousy is an issue. Due to our involvement in the relationship and our desire for it to work, we often overlook the warning signs. Hopefully, we can become more astute at seeing them and responding appropriately at the beginning. Warning signs do not have to be the end of the relationship. They can simply be things that need to be communicated and understood. If we see early that the moment you get a phone call from someone, your new mate or friend has to find a reason to distract you from the call, that is when you should bring it to their attention and explain that it is inconsiderate and is likely to cause a problem in the relationship. So right there, so just the concept that people who are not in the relationship get to see the relationship more clearly than you do. And this is my question to everybody. My question is, have you ever witnessed somebody in a relationship that you thought and you could see very early on was not healthy and they didn't see it? And so I got a hand over here first.
If you want to have a good relationship, hook up with a damn barmaid. If it don't work out, fuck it. There's always more of them.
Oh my God, I'm a pray for.
Okay, we do not encourage his advice. Keep in mind, he's told us multiple times that he never got into a serious relationship. It was only a barmaid because he knew he was going back to prison because he liked robbing bars, okay? So we're not paying no attention to him. But Mr. Willie, we're going to ask you to chime in with some reasonable sense here because, you know, he's really in rare form today.
What do you mean that is reasonable?
Oh, that was reasonable? Well, I guess it was.
Look here, you hook up with a barmaid, and if things don't work out, who gives a shit?
Well, maybe the barmaid.
Nah.
She don't care either.
No.
What about her feelings? What does she care about you?
She didn't. Okay. So because her job is serving drinks, she don't care. She don't have feelings. We're gonna explore that one in a minute. But go ahead with Mr. Willie. We're gonna let you talk for a second. Wait.
Yeah. I remember 40 years ago being in a long-term relationship for 16 years, and it was toxic, and I didn't realize it was toxic. There were things going on in the relationship that I felt that I couldn't walk away from. It was the fact of the matter that when you're in a relationship and there's no family ties on your side, you try to stay in a relationship because there's family on the other side. And my problem was I wanted to be a part of a family. So I would get in a relationship where there was a lot of family members, but I didn't realize that that was a bad situation. It's because no one knew what happens on my side. They didn't know where my family member was when there was none. And so it made the relationship hard to be in because I wanted to stay in a relationship, although it was a bad relationship, although there was things going on in the relationship that I couldn't walk away from. So in that sense, I felt that I was obligated to the relationship. And then after the fact that I got arrested and went to prison, well, they just forgot about me. And so I felt that going in was so toxic and I didn't know how to walk away from.
So let me tell you one of the things that I hear that is a point that I make somewhere else in the book. And that's this. Staying in a relationship to address other needs and it's not for the sake of the relationship is not a good choice to make. People do it, they will say, I'm staying until the kids get grown. Or I'm staying because I need a roof over my head. The guys at Folsom, there's a comedian, I think is Screw the Rules is his name. And he coined a phrase called the hobosexual. And the hobosexual goes out to the club at night and he meets a woman and he goes home with her and he stays with her until she puts him out. Now, whether that's one night or 2 years, it don't matter. But as long as she letting him stay, and that is called a hobosexual, okay? So a hobosexual, which I thought was the funniest term in the world, and the guys at Folsom did too. So, but that's an example of staying in a relationship because of another need, not because you want to be in relationship with that person. And one of the things, Mr. Woolley, about large families is the more people you have, the more opportunity there is for messiness.
Yeah.
And so my natural family wasn't very large, but my mother attached us to other large families. So my growing up, I grew up with the large family dynamic, and I learned how to navigate to stay out the way of the nonsense and the mess. Like, dodge, duck and dodge, so that you're not getting in. Don't give nobody an opinion about somebody else's stuff. Heaven forbid you should comment on anything. But your need to have a family is it's one of the rare things that I've heard as to why people stay. Normally, they're much more basic needs, even though that would be a sense of belonging. So that is one of the basic needs, come to think of it, when I think about it. So really, it did cause you to stay because you were looking for something that relationship gave you, but it wasn't the relationship itself. And I'm sure it caused a lot of pain and a lot of grief, and, like you say, toxicity along the way. So at least we know better now. We know better and we do better. Anybody else had a situation where somebody? Oh, were you raising your hand, Scott?
Oh, yeah. I was always the toxic one in the relationship.
Okay.
I had a really bad upbringing, bad childhood, extremely abusive, and it created a lot of bad schemas, a lot of bad scripts, a lot of false beliefs. I mean, it took 15 years of cognitive behavioral therapy to straighten myself out and all my core beliefs and everything else. But I was always the toxic one in the relationship, it seemed like. And it seemed like I always attracted toxic women on top of that, kind of like what the guy said next to you. I seem to always be attracted to barmaids. So, but they are people too. I have to disagree with him on that. They are people too, and they have feelings, and they have to be taken into consideration as well. But being the toxic one in the relationship, a lot of times you don't notice that you're all messed up. You don't notice that you're all screwed up. And sometimes we become so selfish, so myopic, or even narcissistic that we have this belief that if the whole world would change, my life would be perfect. And then
What's wrong with them?
I know,
I
but
don't
when you get
understand
into
why they don't see what they're doing wrong. Okay,
Yeah.
I just don't understand that. What are they? Why can't they see that? I mean, clearly I'm right all the time. I mean, I never make mistakes and I don't do anything wrong. So I don't understand why they. Oh, okay.
Right.
Not true.
Not true.
Oh, okay.
Reality sets in.
But after you get into one relationship after the next, after the next, after the next, and they always seem to end the same way. At some point, you'd have to say, "Hey, maybe it's not them, maybe it's me."
Okay, so there are two things that you brought up that are critical. One is the common denominator in all those bad relationships was me.
Yep.
That's when I had to start going, look a little closer to home, lady. Okay, stop looking over. How about you just start right here, this close. Okay.
Yeah.
And then another thing was we attract what we are.
Yeah. I attracted a lot of toxic people.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
That's okay. 1 second. Let me finish and then you could go ahead and disagree, right? But we attract what we are. Either and it'll show up in this way. It'll show up either in the person being exactly like you, or they're going to be the person. If you're a taker or if you're a giver, takers will attract to you, right? So it's either going to facilitate what you are. And for me, as a giver, I attracted a lot of takers, right? So, but it's still me attracting what I am, because what I am in order for me to continue to be that, I was attracting that was allowing who I am to be who I am. Okay. Right. The yin and the yang, right? So they go together, right? So that's the kind of circumstance. Now, people who are narcissistic, they are always looking for people that they can control, people they can, but that facilitates that. Okay. But one thing is for sure, there's no way to be a negative thinking person or to be broken and not understand where you are broken at, how you're broken, and miraculously attract a very whole person who to be in relationship with you. That don't happen. There are things about all of us when we attract that broken person, there's something in us that's broken, even if it started out as a righteous principle. We let it get perverted somewhere along the way. Now, Di, I want to let you go ahead and say what you were thinking.
Yeah, well, basically, you should finish breaking it down before I open up my mouth. But anyway, what I'm saying is, I am a giver. I like to protect. I like to take control. I like to take care of. So yes, I attracted a hook, a shark of a narcissist, but I didn't know that because the narcissistic stage go through stages. You know what I'm saying? So it took years to really put it all together, but that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. And so, like I say, so it is literally, you're going to attract that, and maybe the best way to say it is you're going to attract to you that allows you to live what you really believe about yourself or what your core is. Because honestly, we're very similar, right? In so many ways. And we do tend to attract that person that's looking to take. I get it in my work. I get it in my personal life. I get it in my family life.
My friends, my family.
Everything. People just expecting constantly for me just to keep giving. And I can never, they don't want me to say no. But in any event, that is the truth of the matter. So I thank you, Scott, for sharing those insights because
I don't picture you weak like
Not
that.
really. No.
Wait 1 second.
No.
Wait 1 second. Wait, Lionel, because Pike was saying he doesn't picture me being weak like that. I'm not weak.
It's not weak.
I'm not. What I have learned over the years is wisdom. So I still am a giver. What I've learned is to moderate how much I give and to whom. And now, in the book, for example, I treat myself like a business. I'm the Bank of Noreen. If you ain't made no deposits, homie, you don't get no withdrawals. Sorry. Period. That's it. That's all. That's a process. And it's yes, Miss Tony. It took years to get there. I had to learn how to moderate that. So it wasn't even about being weak. And it wasn't that I didn't know that things wasn't right either. Oh no, I would let him have it. I'll tell you something that I learned that I needed to correct. So with my husband, I got married very young, 20 years old. And if we were out and somewhere, or we had a family gathering, one of them large family gatherings, Willie, and he did something to offend me, I checked his behind right there in front of everybody. Bad move. Not good. You got to learn to pull that man aside or wait till you get home, but you don't yell at him in front of everybody. My behind, hey, don't be, okay. Oh, you know what I'm saying? But these are things that I've had to learn, but I had no clue as a young woman, right? So just like that, with me being a giver, my husband was very irresponsible and I was always very responsible. So he wanted me and I wanted him, and it was like, it worked out because for him until we had a child. And then I couldn't live pillar to post and it wasn't exciting and fun no more, which that happened very early on, mind you. But neither here nor there. My mother was pissed because we had the wedding plan. It was right. We were going to do it in LA during the 1984 Olympics. My mother went to Paris and bought fabric for my wedding gown. And I popped up pregnant and I was like, oh no, I'm not doing it. She was so mad with me. She was so mad. Oh my gosh, she was so mad. I can't believe you let me go all around the world to get this fabric and now you telling me you're not doing this wedding? Nope, I'm not walking down the aisle pregnant because my vanity was still there, y'all. I was 20 years old. I was vain as hell. Never mind the fact that, okay, you don't mind having a baby by this man, but you don't want to walk down the aisle pregnant. How stupid was that? But that's the mind of a child, right? That's the mind. What was really important was my son, you know, but you live and you learn. So that's the thing. Now, I wanted to come to you, Lionel, because you wanted to say something. Did you forget? I'm sorry. I hope you didn't forget.
Well, okay. First, let me say this. You need to breathe. Give yourself a little chance to breathe. Now, because you was going at it. You said you attracted these people. To me, my personal opinion is people is out hunting for people to take advantage of. They might have saw you, seen your kind heart, and seen how caring you was, and felt that they be easy victim because of your caring heart. And it's like, you know, people are out hunting. Men and women are looking for someone they could come up on, you know, fulfill they greed on and stuff like that. And so yeah, you got people out looking for people who looking for love, true love, so they could use them. It just so happened, you know, sometimes we make the wrong choices in people, but that's what life is all about. Going through relationship and say, okay, this ain't the one for me. Or when two people are being honest what they want in life, just like Spike was saying, go about the what's the bar flower or whatever it is. You have probably a female there looking for the same thing he looking for, not looking for a relationship, but it's a relationship that, you know, for that night or for that week or for that month. Then they go about their business. Nothing serious, but it's a relationship. And me, I respect people when they're being honest with what they're looking for. You know, we can hook up and it don't really mean that we're just having fun, but it's still some kind of relationship. We respect one another for that. Most people, I guess, a lot of people looking for that love, that shining, that night to come in and save them and rescue them, give them love. Some people ain't looking for that. We just go across the wrong people. We choose the wrong people to try to make a relationship with. When the red flag is out, we try to ignore it because the sex might be good, or this person might got a nice car or a nice house. We say, okay, we're going to put up with this bullshit because I'm getting something out the deal, but in the long run, I'm going to change this person to I want this person to be, man or woman, and we get caught up because we know what this person really after. You can tell about after a few weeks what this person's intent really is. That person really don't want to be with this person for the right reason. It's like for finance and stuff like that. So we got to look at reality when we're looking at people. Sometimes we got to take chances. Sometimes, like, you know, it works, and a lot of times it don't work. But there's always someone out there for someone else. You know, it could be a mass murderer, and he could find another female who's into that same thing. They make the perfect relationship.
Charles Manson had lots of women, baby.
And all that.
Charles
Because
Manson had them lined
you
up.
don't find the person you looking for, it doesn't mean, you know, everyone is like that. It's like this person, like say a player, a playboy, a playgirl, a playgirl. They might run across another person that's a playboy, a playgirl, and love the hell out that person because they got so much in common.
Yes.
That's what we gotta find, someone who we got in common, who got the same goals that we got and want to do these fulfill these goals together.
So let me say this. I think that we're really literally saying the same thing though, Lionel, in this regard.
Nope.
When you say, when I tell you that I'm attracting that to me, and you talk about people hunting, when they were hunting, when the takers was hunting, I look like a steak, okay? Because I had all the behavior of the giver, right? They meet me, and listen, and you're right. It's in the selection process, right? It didn't mean that I was weak. It didn't mean any of those things. It just
don't mean that you're weak.
It does not. It doesn't. I agree. That's what I'm telling you. Yeah. I think you're really saying the same thing. I think I agree with you. And then the other thing is this. Maybe that was the situation with the barmaids, is that maybe they were only looking for a night. But I have to say, based on what I know about Pike and one or two of these experiences, when she came and busted out his damn windows in his house, she was looking for more than the one night, boo-boo. Okay, so
no. See, this what Pike into. He's into this type of shit, being tied up and whipped and all that type of shit. He's
I
into
ain't
that.
real close.
That's what turns him
Oh,
on. A
no,
woman gonna
listen.
fight him and whoop him. He loves that. That's
Let
what
me-
he's
let me
looking
tell you
for.
something.
Look at him. He
If I
talks
could have
shit. He
got to
want a
that
woman to go
gun
smack him
about
around.
2 seconds faster, that bitch would have been dead
If
when
she-
she crashed that window.
He said if he could have got to the gun 2 seconds faster, she would have been dead. Listen,
No, you
my
most
point.
likely you
Wait.
would have married her. You would have married her. She would jump through that window. You would have married her because you said this woman can control me. She know how to check me.
But
You want
listen,
somebody who can
but
run
listen.
your life, right?
but
You ain't
listen,
looking for no love. You looking for somebody to control you, a stronger woman. You want someone strong
You
because
wanna
you've been
know
in
how
prison all
fucking-
your life and you
how
want a
fucking
dominant
mad I
woman in your
was?
life. Huh?
I'm hunted in 2 or 3 states. Some
You
cop,
hunted.
he was during the time he was on the run.
yeah. and
Yeah,
then-
you want Bonnie and Clyde. You want somebody
Wait,
gonna
wait,
run
Lionel,
with
wait,
you.
let him finish. Wait, let him go ahead.
I was so mad when these cops showed up and wanted to know what I did to her. I went down to the police station, found the lieutenant and asked him what the fuck's the matter with his people.
You're not starving.
And I was carrying my gun.
Now, mind
So
you,
love hurt.
no,
So she was in
didn't
love
work.
with
No,
you.
listen, he
No,
was
love.
insane. It wasn't no
So sick.
love. He was mad. He was mad because she did what she did. But guess what? She was the one who wanted more. And let me tell you, and let me say this about it, okay?
How he gonna get mad when he know what he's getting? He knew the
Listen.
woman was crazy. That's why he
Listen.
at the bar looking for him.
But wait, Lionel. He thought that she was like the others who were okay, like you said, who really didn't want nothing. But this one wanted something more. And let me tell you what can happen. Okay, this has
See,
been an experience.
don't make no excuse for him. Don't make no excuse for
I ain't
him.
making an
He was
excuse
at the bar.
Now,
He was
wait a
at the
minute.
bar
Come on now.
for aggressive woman.
Now,
Got
Lionel,
one too aggressive. He couldn't handle. He couldn't
now,
handle
you
her.
know, of all the things I'm doing, I ain't making no excuses for nobody. Come on now. Now, you know
That's
me.
your
That-
boy.
that is
You
not-
baby fight. You baby fight. Mike needs to hear the truth. He needs to hear the truth. He came across a strong woman, wasn't taking his bull. And
Well,
he
and
took
that's
off
what can
running.
happen. But listen, but that
Yeah, he took off running.
okay, so now I need you to let me land
she
my
was
point.
Okay,
fixing to
I'm
find
sorry.
a
Go ahead.
strong man that's gonna cap her goddamn ass.
let me land my point, okay? Because again, this is relevant, and this happens more often than not, and it ties into a few things. One is the fact that people don't a lot of times get into relationships intentionally. So what happened is that Pike had a type, and this woman on the surface appeared to be that type. She appeared to be that barmaid that wasn't looking for nothing. He could do what he want, come and go as he pleased, yada, yada, yada. Well, as it went on, I don't know whether he hit it real good or whatever happened, but whatever happened is she decided at some point that she wanted more. And she was mad because he wasn't giving it to her, so she went and bust out his windows and almost got a cat busting her butt for it, okay? Now, another thing, we do have to be honest about what it is that we want, because a lot of times, but first we have to know ourselves enough to know what that is. A lot of us
He
don't.
wanted an aggressive woman. See, Pike talking about busting the cap on her ass, and she committing violence, busting out his window. That's two violent people in love with each other, and one of them was more violent than the other.
He wasn't in
is.
love with her, and she probably wasn't even really in love with him. She just wanted what she wanted. But wait, hold up. So the other thing is, we need to know ourselves so that we can understand what it is and be able to express that to somebody else. And then it also puts us in a position for something else that I talk about in the book. And that is all in the selection process, y'all. The people that I was selecting, I was allowing them to select me. I wasn't being conscious about that. There was a time where it just went however it went, or I had the guys and folks cracking up about the fact that I looked up, and I think I told you guys about this, looked up, and this guy, it was like this. He would say, I'm going home, and I say, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And then he'd call me and say, I want to come back. And I'm like, good, because I want you to come back, okay? And by the end of about 30 or 40 days, I'm like, he live here. He got shoes under my bed. wait a minute, we're in a relationship. Okay, it just happened. It evolved because we start going out and whatever. That was not intentional. But, and then I can also say this. I shared this with you guys before. Most painful relationship I ever had was when in my 20s. And this guy told me up front that he did not want to be in a committed relationship because he was coming out of a divorce. In my mind, based on my family history and certain things, I really thought I could handle it. What happened is, as I got into the relationship, I realized I wanted a committed relationship with this person. I was in love with him and I wanted a committed relationship. So there was the conflict because he told me.
So who you think was at fault on that part? Now, who you think was at fault? This guy was truthful with you by telling you he wasn't into having a committed relationship. So you allowed this person to come into your life. Then at the last minute, you want to change. You say, I'm going to change the whole contract we had because now I'm going to make you my man and you can only be with me. You did that, not that guy. That guy was open and honest with you what he wanted in life.
Absolutely correct, Lionel, except for one thing. I didn't change the contract because we didn't have none. He had an open door to come and go as he damn well please. Wait, don't talk over me. Wait, hold on. Hold up. Let me tell you this. Wait, let me finish because you're correct. Let me tell you the most hurtful thing in the world, Lionel, to me, to this day. And since then, I've lost my mother, my father, my oldest brother, and all of that. This day, when I had to look myself in the mirror and say, all the pain you're feeling behind this relationship is your damn fault. It was a cold ass day right there, Lionel. But guess what? It was also the beginning of healing and growth in such a way I've never experienced that kind of pain ever again in my life. And
are you truly healing, though?
Huh?
Are you truly healing? Because to heal, you gotta let it go. You can't keep that emotional feeling of anger what this person did to you. You let it go. That's how you heal. You forgive yourself. And move on.
I've done all of that, honey. I've done all of that. I'm not angry at him.
When we was talking just now, you said, don't overtalk me, don't overtalk me. You let your emotion get caught up in you telling the story. And I'm just telling you, no, look, this would happen. He told you this and you went for it, but you got caught up. You went back in time to your feelings because you still love that man. Deep down, you still care about that man.
Oh, wait, let's be clear. Wait.
How much coffee you been drinking?
He said, how much coffee you been drinking? Wait, no.
But I got my shot right here. Yeah, I got it right here.
Wait, he's still drinking. He got to cut right now, Pike. He got to cut right now. But listen, no, Lionel, listen. I was just saying, don't overtalk me so I could finish my thoughts because I wanted you to know you were absolutely right. You were everything you said was absolutely right. And that's what I needed you to understand. I understood, and that was the beginning of my healing, was the day that I looked myself in the mirror and acknowledged my part in it. Let me tell you what it taught me. I'm the one responsible for my heart. I'm the one responsible for what I participate in. I like to use this example. I felt like I had a black eye. Well, the question is how you let homie get close enough to you to punch you like that. You see what I'm saying? Well, how did he get close enough? Because you let him, right? I'm gonna tell you the other thing. On the other side of that coin, though, Lionel, was this. This man told me that, but I will tell you this. He had my time sewed up every weekend, every night. He called me, had me on the phone all hours of the night from his job. We went on vacations together. He had us with our kids together. I'm telling you, exactly. As Tony said, he led me down a contradictory path. So his word said one thing.
No,
Lionel, listen. Don't start over talking me again. Don't cut me off again. Wait, hold it. His behavior was such that we were in a relationship. Trust me, if he came to my house, when the people totaled my car in front of the hairdresser, he took responsibility for all of it and got the new car and all this kind of stuff. This man monopolized my time, but that was my fault for allowing it. he was able to do, I see your hand, I'll come right to you, but he was able to do that because I permitted it. When you said deep down, I still love him, let me tell you something, it ain't even deep down, it's still on the surface, baby. I will always love him, and he been dead for 4 years. And I will always love him. Let me tell you something. That was the best thing that happened to me at that time in my life. Why? Because I've never been devastated like that again. Why? Because I take responsibility for me. Why? Because I'm honest with me about what I participate in. I now know I don't even do the open, even tell somebody Lionel no more that I'm gonna agree to be in no open relationship with them. I don't even do that shit. Since my 20s, I ain't done it no more. Now look, and since my 20s, have chosen a man and had a one night stand with him because I decided I wanted him. Okay, I ain't no Puritan or none of that. I'm just telling you, I have decided what I don't do. If I want him to be a booty call, I had this one guy, oh, he was awesome in bed, right? Wonderful. But he wanted it more regular than I was prepared to give it to him, because if I gave it to him regular, then I was going to start feeling some type of way. And since I know me, I knew a backup player, and the poor baby, he said, you don't want me. And then he hung up and he wouldn't answer my calls no more. So I understood because one thing is for sure, that frequency, you can't do real good. Look, if the sex is good, you can't do that consistently on a regular basis. And somebody
don't be catching.
So look, so I've been on either side of that. What I'm telling you is, yes, love for that man. I always loved that man from my 20s until the day he died. And even he died 4 years ago, and I still love that man. Why? Because there were things that I learned about myself, and there are things that I loved about him. He was, I've said this to you guys talking about him before. If I had to put on a piece of paper what I wanted him to look like, what kind of job I wanted him to have, what kind of philosophy, he was all of that. The issue was he didn't want to be committed. And literally to the day he died, he played that role. He had 4 kids after being in a relationship with me, and he didn't commit to none of them women. So, but the issue was he got away with that with them, and he got away with it with me. And that was my fault. So I don't have no problem saying it. Now, James wanted to say something. Do you remember what you want to say? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, clear your throat, Claire. Clear your throat. Clear your throat.
No.
Clear your throat, baby. Clear your throat.
I say this all the time.
You're gonna choke.
You teach a person how to treat you.
Mm-hmm.
From Jump Street, you're gonna know who they are. You're gonna allow them in your door of your life the way you want them to be. If you allow them to drive your car, then you allow them to drive your life. If you allow them to drive your emotions, then you allow them to see and dictate who you to be. I always tell people, give yourself 90 days, because I know me. I was a non-committed individual. I was a, excuse my language, ladies, I was a pure asshole from the first, second, and third degree. I know who I was. I was an arrogant son of a bitch with a lot of money off that game, and I felt like that everything I wanted, I could buy it.
Yep.
Everything that I wanted, I did it. Why? Because I did on my own terms. If you want to enjoy life, you're going to do as I say do, how I want to do it. But there became one woman by the name of Davita McDaniels. This one woman, I let get real close to me. She died of leukemia. That broke me to a point where I never wanted to feel that feeling again. That's why commitment in relationships didn't exist with me until I married Renee. But the thing was, it took me a long time to go through a lot of the groups that I went through and break myself down to see where I was damaged at from what I saw in other relationships before my own. And then when Davita came, she came in as a boomerang, back doorway, and I allowed her in. But what I always tell Noreen is, when I learned that you teach a person how to treat you, that became the day, my aha moment. That became the day that I realized that relationships, all relationships, not just emotional relationships, friendships, companionships, work friendships, even just slightly day by fly by night relationships. All of them have a degree of the way that you want it to be. And if you don't want it to be that, like Lorraine said, she had the little booty calls, and we done had a couple of them, and some of them a little better than other ones. But needless to say, it was a point in time where you had to make a decision. Do I cross that road,
Right.
or do I stay back on this side? For me, now I'm very cautious in who I pursue because I know what I want. I know the type of life I live, and I want somebody to see me as a man of qualities, not of quantity. See,
James,
yeah,
James, I ain't trying to cut you off, but let me say this first. To have a conversation, to communicate, when you communicate with one another, you can't be the only person that's talking. You got to give someone else a chance to speak on something that you're saying, because now you talking at people when you don't give them a chance to respond to some of the things you're saying, because you're sharing your story. And so while you're sharing your story, you got to give someone else a chance to respond to some of the things you're saying. Like you were saying about you was a dog and you were paying, you had money and woo. Basically, you was paying for pussy, the way I see it, until this young lady came into your life and she not outsmarted you, but she tamed you. What she gave to you changed you. She changed who you was to make you stop being that dog ass dude that you were with
no,
all the money,
because the Vita
doing
was
all this type
before
of
the
stuff.
dope game.
She changed your whole life around. You know what I'm saying? Bless her
Vita,
heart. He was strong
Vita
enough.
was before
He
the
was
dope
strong
game. If
enough
you
to
listen,
tame your ass from the person that you was. So, that's what she loved you that much. She seen something in you, and she changed the way who you was from that dog ass person that you were into a kind, loving man. And she
well,
loved you.
Lionel,
Lionel,
thank you for your commentary, but let James finish his story, sweetie.
what happened was the Vita was before the dope game. See, Vita was the reason why I shut down feelings.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
To have someone die in your arms from leukemia in the hospital is very devastating to a 17-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when she died, everything became no commitment.
It became transactional. It became transactional because that was a defense mechanism.
Right.
That was your defense mechanism to make everything okay. Was that I'm not going to invest my feelings anymore like that. And then you got in a dope game, and then it became transactional, just like money, going to a restaurant, buying a car, selling some dope.
Everything.
Got you.
That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted was nothing. As I got older, found out where I was damaged, how to get healed. That's when I started realizing that you teach a person how to treat you. You find out how to get into relationships and communicate with people on a one-on-one, and that their feelings and that their thoughts just as valuable as you. And they can offer really a lot of perspective that you never thought of. That's all I really want to say.
Well, and I'll say this is that here at Free to Heal, everybody's opinion is valid. We don't take anybody's opinion. Yours matters too, even if it ain't, even if it's crazy, Pike. We take your opinion too, right? It's valid here because guess what? It's an opinion, right? It's an opinion.
Like assholes.
And like my mom used to say that, like assholes, everybody got them, right? But for us and for our purposes, literally, we want people to understand. Mr. Steffens, I see your hand.
Yeah, I like the fact that no matter how your analogy went on or how you attracted and did the things you did. When I look at that, I notice about one thing about me is that I always look for love in the wrong places. And, and now growing up the way I've grown up and understanding what love is, you know what I mean? what love really is. So James pointed that out about what you look for, what you're attracted to. You pointed that out. And so, I liked what you said a week or two ago, being on that high bar. If you want to have good liquor, you look higher. You know what I mean?
Go up to the top shelf, baby.
And that's where I'm at. So I love that. I love this. This is really, really, really awesome. Thank you.
Because guess what?
Okay, hold on.
Again,
Let me say something.
Oh, snap.
Now he said, I guess you gotta go to a higher place to get the best thing. That's a bunch of, I don't go for that, because the low place you can find what you're really looking for. We set our standards too high. I think we gotta go to these high places to find the right person, when the right person be right there in our face, right where we at. You don't go. And what is the thing that people saying, I go to the wrong places looking for love? What is the wrong places?
So
I don't get it. Because any place could be the right place if you're looking at the right person. Because if you put your heart out there for everybody to jump on, step on, and kick around, it's gonna happen. But if you close your heart and pick specific people, watch specific people, and just don't jump into a relationship, you gotta observe this person's attitude or personality before you say be in a relationship. You can watch a person from the distance, see who this person is. But once you open your heart, they're gonna jump all on it. You start bonding things, just like you said, Ring. You let a person into your house, and then you wonder why he living there. His clothes is all there because you open the door and let the man in. That's why his clothes is there. You open your heart up and let this person in without saying, man, you can't come through this door first. We gotta find out who you is and what you're about. I gotta do some investigation. I gotta watch you. And when we just open our hearts to just give to people, yes, they're gonna run over, because it's easy. It's like a female, somebody she made to do on the first date and have sex with him, and she wonder why the dude ain't coming back. He's like, I can't have a relationship with her. Or she might say, I can't really have a relationship with him because he's easy. See, it's vice versa. I ain't gonna blame the female, because the male in the same predicament. Ain't nobody want to just be with someone. Well, it is people who do want to be with the one night stand. They might fall in love. But then again, when you open yourself out like that, people get to thinking like, wait a minute, is I'm the only one she doing that, or she do this with everybody? He do this with everybody. I ain't gonna say she, but he too, because he could be that slut dude too. I ain't gonna say I feel a woman could do anything that a man do. I would never judge a woman when she do the same thing a man do, because I feel a woman should be able to do whatever the hell she want to do, just like a man.
Well,
so I'm not here to judge anyone.
That is a rare position, because there typically is a double standard.
No, society.
Well, absolutely.
Think about what society think of it. Damn society.
Absolutely, there is in society. And I don't have and I understand that, but let me just tell you this: the man that put his shoes under my bed after 30 days was a 4-year relationship, and the best one I ever had, bar none, to this day. Why? Because he cared for me in a way that other men didn't. He did things to try to show me that he loved me in ways that the other men didn't. But again, by that time in my life, I was way more mature, and I know me. And I know what I was willing to tolerate and what I wasn't. And the only reason that I broke up with him is because he didn't care. He cared more about me than he cared about himself. And what I was afraid of is that I was going to wind up being a nursemaid to somebody, because he refused to take care of himself. And literally, he had very, very low opinion of himself. And that caused me to recognize I couldn't fix that, because like you always say, and I know that to be true, I can't change nobody. If I get to change myself. So what I recognized was that this person wasn't going to be in the long run what I wanted to see myself being with for a lifetime. But we had 4 wonderful years, and literally I could tell you, when I saw him recently, his teeth is all knocked out. And exactly where I thought he was headed is exactly where he's headed now and where he is. But I will tell you, I want to reiterate this: it is all in the selection process. There is also no way to know other than to do what you said, Lionel, and that's to find out who that person is. In my book, I very strongly advocate waiting before we become sexually involved and stuff like that, because that tends to cloud our judgment. I say that all the time. That is one.
Say that from experience. So
yes.
It's a process. So I don't want to get away from the fact that it's a process. I'm 57. The way I do it today is very different than the way that I did it at 27. And maybe at 27, I didn't take the time to I thought I was, but didn't take enough of a time in that selection process. And so I can't be, I'm not gonna be held to that standard that I had at 27 that I have today at 57. And the things that we're talking about are all because of the processes that we have all been through. Yeah. And where we are today is not necessarily, and most certainly not where we were 30 years ago. And that just goes for anybody.
Yeah, and that's in most things. Experience will teach you to function a different way, right? And so, and you know, we say all the time, when you know better, you do better. Well, I know better, right? I know me well enough to know what will work for me and what won't work for me. I can see warning signs very early on. Oh, that's going to be a problem.
But you couldn't see those.
I couldn't see because I didn't have enough experience to know.
Now, I said we had no experience at that time.
Exactly. And now that I've grown and I'm gonna be 60 years old, I get it, right? I get me. If I don't get nothing else, I get me. And so there are some things that I will not engage in. I don't care who you are. I don't care how good you look. I don't care how much money you have or nothing. I'm just not doing it because it don't work for me. And it literally is all about selecting the person. But the only way to know whether they're the person for you or not is for you to put in the time to find out who they are. You got to put in the time up front to figure out who they are. And a lot of times, something else that Lionel said that I know is important, particularly with men. Men know very early on in talking to a woman what place she can hold in their lives, what level they're willing to be involved with her at. They know very quickly. And where did I get that from? I got it from men. I've been told this by men. They could talk to a woman very quickly and they're going to know, okay, she may say one thing and it's like, oh no, she could never be my woman. Or she may say something, she may have a great conversation. They go, oh my gosh, she wife material. And guess what? She may be wife material, but if they don't want to be married, they'll kick her to the curb because they know that they don't want that. And they'll kick her to the curb. So it's them knowing it is definitely all in the selection process. And one thing I can tell you that I love about Free to Heal in these conversations, because my intent in this discussion was about those things that other people, that you've seen on other people's relationships that let you know that their relationship wasn't good and they were the last people to know. But the beauty of it is this, is that the conversations go where they go. And we wound up in to me, what is a very robust conversation about the selection process. And let me tell you something. If you want to select the proper person for you, and for me, Lionel, my version of me is that I'm top shelf liquor. That's what he was referring to, is that to me, I'm the liquor that's behind the counter, behind the lock key on the top shelf. I ain't Cisco and I ain't your regular VSOP Hennessy, baby. I'm the top shelf liquor that you gotta invest a little bit more to get, okay? And so that is my definition and my analogy that I use for myself. And I don't want the beer, the champagne and the Cisco level dude, okay? Because his vibration.
My shit's on the bottom shelf. So if there's any ladies that want the bottom motherfucker,
that would be him.
That'd be me.
He talk to this dude here. Talk to Pike.
Well, he need to go back to where he came with that woman who chased his ass out of town. Yeah, that's what he's looking for.
Yeah, but
that's the woman.
But wait, but you see what he got, Lionel. Look, wait, with his bottom shelf liquor self, he got that woman breaking out his damn windows to his house. I can't do that. I got too much stuff to lose. I got a house. I got, you know what I'm saying? I can't be paying for broken windows and stuff. So what do? I avoid those circumstances that I know can potentially lead me to have to break out this dude's windows. Because see, he talking about he want to have me and whoever else he want, and he want to go to jail every few months for robbing this bar and robbing that bar. I can't fool with
Months.
you. Years.
Months.
Years.
I ain't never went to jail for months.
Even in YA, he had to do it. There was supposed to be 90 days max. He got 2 years because he always been, so he already knows that. But again, you know, I enjoy the robust conversation, and I enjoy the fact that we can disagree without being disagreeable. Right? We can all have an opinion, and everybody's entitled to that opinion. But I just want you to know that there is such a thing that's true. Okay, there are things that are true, and the truth is that we're responsible for who we select and who we give access to us. We're responsible for that. Once we give them that access, we're responsible for everything that happens after that to us in that situation. Now, listen, that doesn't excuse them. Because karma is a dish best served cold. Okay. And I always see it. I always see when that bitch rear her beautiful head. I always get to see it because she a cold piece. And she don't discriminate. Okay. She don't take no prisoners, Tony, and she ain't taking no wood nickels, neither, Pike. Okay. So one thing about karma, she is consistent. Okay. So I'm grateful to know.
I don't know that bitch.
I'm grateful to know that if I am responsible to protect my heart and I'm responsible to make the best choices for me, that means I have to spend some time getting to know me. And the other thing it requires is something you said, Lionel. I got to be honest with me about who I am, with myself about who I am. I can't act like if I want to be in a relationship, I can't act like it's okay that I don't want to be in one. Right? That's fooling myself and making a mess. Mr. Otis, did you have your hand up? Did you raise your hand, or were you just?
Yeah, I did. You know what? You're already on the right track. I do the same thing. Before I even go out on a date, you got to know that person. You got to know what she likes and dislikes. Because I went out one time with a woman, and when we were eating dinner and turned around, she was taking the silverware and the salt shaker and pepper shaker and putting them in a purse. I said, you can't be doing that.
It was a klepto.
That's crazy. So yeah, you're on the right track. You got to know what kind of woman you want, who you dislikes and likes, and all the heartaches and you're going to go through in life. Because if you don't get to know her, she's going to rip you off like crazy.
Okay, right, yeah, because if she was still in the silverware at the restaurant, your wallet surely wasn't safe if you took your pants off at her house.
That's true.
And it's good to know. So listen, we're getting a little late on time. I want to give I would love to hear from my contingent in Mexico. Can y'all unmute and talk to me? Tell me what you're thinking. Talk to me. Do your last thoughts or whatever. Unmute.
Well,
go ahead.
We're unmuted. You are you gonna say she's on with you first? No. When you said about when we were younger, we were too young to realize who was toxic for us or who wasn't. But I always had a gut instinct of when they were, but we didn't know the difference. And, you know, I always say when it's your gut instinct, it's really God really talking to you saying, get away from this, wonderful, non-wonderful man. But so now when I talk to younger people, like my nieces and nephews and my kids, I'm like, they're boring you. I'm like literally just like shaking them. And they're like, well, I kind of thought that I'm like, no, go with your first instinct, That's good advice to give to kids because I would not be here in Mexico had I not had kids from that son of a bitch.
Wow. And you gotta believe what your lying eyes tell you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't see it and you turn away and act like that ain't really what it is. No, that's not helpful. Yeah. That's not helpful. When they show you who they are the first time, believe them. Go ahead, Miss Cheryl.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh my.
That's all you're gonna say for all that? Yeah, she was whispering in my ear.
That's all you want to say? Really?
He said, yeah. Wow.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Di.
I enjoyed the conversation tonight. I really did. Everybody's opinions, everybody's quotes, everybody's being honest about their true feelings. Like now, as you get older, you make different decisions. You see more, you know more, you do better. And I appreciate the conversation tonight.
Wonderful. Lionel, final thoughts.
Yeah, I really appreciate the conversation too. You know, just expressing and sharing and stuff like that. You know, everybody got different opinions. Everybody had different adventures in life, and we just sharing, story in life. Thank you.
Wonderful. Mr. Terry, any final thoughts from you, sweetie?
Well, I like all your guys' conversation and everything and how you put it together. Because, like I said, you got to get to really knowing that person before you even start a relationship. It's got to be a one-on-one relationship, not just a one relationship.
Thank you. Thank you. Final thoughts from you, Mr. Pike. We're so glad to have you back this week. Can I just say that?
If I knew there was gonna be this much shit, I would have brought a shovel.
Oh. Miss Roberta.
I would have brought. Oh, I love it.
I know you're going on a reflection period.
Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
You were very
opinionated. Oh yeah. That's the whole thing, Johnny. See, I'm not afraid to speak my mind and speak my truth. When a lot of people in the world, they try to fit in, so they kiss ass. So I'm not a person who's gonna kiss nobody's ass because I know I ain't gotta try to fit in. I just speak my truth. I know I might be wrong sometimes, but hey, that's what life's all about: sharing what your thoughts is and not kissing asses.
Go back on this.
And that's cool. Look, and that's why she just putting you on a reflection period. Look, go ahead, which is funny as all get out to me. Go ahead. They crazy over here, Lionel. Go ahead, Miss Tony. I don't even know where she got that term from. We're gonna have to unpack that when we get it's from her job.
But I also appreciate listening and hearing the conversation, and it's always good for people to really air out opinions, because sometimes even though you may not agree with someone, you still have something that you can take away from it. So I appreciate everybody's perspective.
Awesome. And you know, one of the things I do like about it too, Tony, is that it occurs to me that like in having Lionel thought that we didn't agree, but actually we were saying a lot of the same things. Even though we were saying it in a different way, we were doing that. So James, I want to give you, and then Shirley, I see the hand up over there. Your last comment, sweetie.
Peace, love, stay solid. You are somebody.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Miss Shirley.
Hey, Martin Luther King.
Okay. See, you know what?
Okay.
Go ahead, Miss Cheryl. Wait, no. Cheryl, go ahead. I'm gonna mute us so you can't hear him. Cheryl, go ahead.
The reason my statement was short is because I forgot what I wanted to say.
Well, you 68 and you entitled. You can have a senior moment. You 68. You earned that on your birthday. And so we love you. Happy birthday. So let me say this again. The senior moment was matching your hair, Cheryl. That's what Tony said.
Did you get a hooker down there?
So and then Pike want to know if you got a hooker down there. We just gonna keep moving. Listen, that's it. We're gonna cut it. Okay, we all going on a reflection period. Okay, until next Tuesday when we come back together at Free to Heal to try to heal the ravages of incarceration. Scott got sick of us. He had all he could take, and so we didn't get our last comments from him. But we hope that he'll come back and join us again next week. We're here every Tuesday. And again, we're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Please, by all means, check us out. Check out our YouTube videos. Leave us comments and any topics that you want us to discuss. And I just wanted to say thank you for another wonderful session of Free to Heal. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Daddy.
Bye.
Bye.